To me, Métis is here. It's in your heart. You know who you are. You are raised in your culture. You knew your history. But most of all, you didn't have to be told. You knew it. You lived it.
Well, certainly us as Métis people know who we are and have always known who we are. But you know, Métis is one of the Indigenous peoples of Canada, clearly in the Constitution of Canada under Section 35.
Métis people, sometimes when you think of Indigenous peoples of Canada, there's, you know, like First Nations, there's Inuit, and people think Métis, but at the same time, like, we're not just kind of grouped in with First Nations, like we're our own people, we have our own voice.
Je vois le peuple métis comme une personne autonome qui a l'autonomie et qui a une culture et une langue mixte.
I think that if educators could relay that story to their Métis students, that you're part of a family and a community that is distinct, they have their own culture and they have their own language, then the kids can go with a positive message and want to connect and understand.
We have a word that's otepemsawak, and that's we own ourselves. We are free people. We look after ourselves. And they have truly stood behind that from all history that we can look back on.
Because of that, that's why we as a Métis people are resilient. We're entrepreneurs. We're also people that can adapt.
I believe that Métis people have shown that they have built an economy. They have shown that they take ownership of their language, and they continue to show that throughout the decades.
To be Métis in 2020 is to kind of take ownership over your own identity. I don't necessarily think there's like a one-stop answer for it. Like even what it is to be Métis for myself might be different for another person.
It's really important for educators to know not all the kids look Métis. There's no one way of looking Métis. You could learn one thing and the other family does it differently, and you have to respect that and like let them teach you or let yourself learn from community around them.
So I think that it's very important to establish ourselves as a distinct people with a distinct language and a distinct way of being.
The language is the essence of our culture. And for me, being a Métis man, that's how I identify that I'm distinct. If you know the language or have an understanding about language, that is the essence of the culture.
When we celebrate Métis culture in the classroom, it makes space for everyone to feel valued and for all the students to want to celebrate who they are and who their families are. Then it makes space for everyone to celebrate who they are. The Métis Nation knows themselves through family and through having that relational connection. And so that relational understanding of self is even in the small things.
I had a happy childhood. I remember we lived right off the land. That happiness was because our family unit was strong. And then when my mother passed away at TB, my whole world changed. And they flew us to Fort Resolution. And here, they took us to a big building. Walk in those doors. Little did I know, the sense of losing all our family, our home, our community, they had nobody, we were alone. I tried to put it behind and try to move forward, and my children, I would say my life and my children is what I concentrate on, my Métis heritage and my community, my people that I love.
So I believe true reconciliation will come when people understand who we are and why we want everyone to work with us and contribute together.
All Canadian families have this historical relationship with Métis community that needs to be honored so that we can build a better future together that's more honoring towards each other.
There's so much to learn, and there's so much more than what's just taught in schools, and it's almost like once it's a thread that kind of gets pulled, you can kind of keep on pulling it.
I think actually coming to learn different aspects of who I was at a more mature state in my life, I think it was really beneficial for me because I was able to do some deep reflection, and I think that no matter the age, I think it's super lovely and great to know where you come from and who you are.
I know who I am. And to me, it's so important. That's my lifeline. It took me many, many years to actually come out and be visible and be able to speak out.
Now we get to be a part of bringing that Métis story in the classroom and letting them experience and celebrate their identity.
And I think that's what it takes, is our people who are in those key positions today and in schools, really teaching our kids the proper history of this country. I think it's going to make an amazing change to how the Métis will feel no longer forgotten, no longer ignored.